Hey everyone, you're watching PhoneArena's in-depth video review of the Nokia Astound, which is basically a rebranded Nokia C7 that we checked back not too long ago. It sports a $79.99 on contract price through T-Mobile and aims to hopefully bring Symbian 3 to the masses here stateside. It's pretty much similar in terms of design and hardware, except for the fact that you have the T-Mobile branding right there, and also some enhancements in the software side. As we mentioned already, the Astound retains all the design cues found with the C7. It's one solidly built handset all around. We do like its choice of materials. A little bit more on the rounded side here on the corners. You have the chrome-like bezel, which is complemented with the plastic and also metallic back cover. Gives it a sense of durability all around. And it's definitely normal size, but you do get a sense of a weight to it just because of the choice of materials. But overall, it's one attractive-looking handset that's very glossy. On the front, we're greeted to a 3.5-inch AMOLED touchscreen display. It has a resolution 360 by 640 pixels, so it provides plenty of details here. Very easy to see, even the tiniest of text here. If you go to the main menu, you can tell it's still more than legible. On top of that, the colors are on the juicier side just because it's an AMOLED panel, so you do get some really nice looking colors. And on top of that, it does have some acceptable viewing angles, although in outdoor conditions in direct sunlight, we still need to shield it away from the sun. Surprisingly, the Astound retains the 0.3 megapixel front-facing camera for video chat and even taking self-portraits, while below the touchscreen you have the send and end keys, the menu button here. They're flat, but they exhibit a really nice tactile response when pressed. There are plenty of buttons clinging onto the right edge of the handset, and they are recessed, but they're still more than distinguishable. You have the shutter key here, the lock-unlock switch, the volume rocker, and the middle bit right here is preset to activate the voice recognition service. Meanwhile, we find the micro USB port on the top edge of the handset behind the flap. It's used for charging and data connection, 3.5mm headset jack, and of course the power button here is completely flush to the surface, kind of difficult to feel out. And finally, in the rear, we have the 8-megapixel camera. It's a fixed focus one as opposed to an autofocus. You have a dual LED flash. You have the speaker grills to the left and right sides of it. Removing the stainless steel cover is pretty easy. Just gotta hit the latch there. And you have access to the battery, the SIM card slot, and also the micro SD card slot. The Astound is powered by an ARM11 processor clocked in at 680 MHz with 256 MB of RAM. As you can tell, just moving between the home screens here, it's very fluid in its movements here. Very little evidence of any lag or slowdown. There is a little bit of delay when you open up specific applications, but it's not that bad at all. Much like other contemporary Nokia handsets out there, the Astound is running Symbian 3, which offers a pretty good amount of customization with it here. You have a total of 3 home screens. The first one's mostly your messaging and email aspects. The second one is mostly your music. And lastly, the third one is geared towards your photos and videos and the weather. There's a lot of personalization with it. You could change the wallpaper and even edit the home screen so you could add additional widgets or rearrange them. One of the nice new additions with the Astound is the fact that it has the swipe keyboard, but unfortunately though it's only available in landscape, no portrait one available. It offers a really nice way, an easier way of typing up text here, as opposed to using the portrait one, which is extremely cramped as you can tell. Buttons are placed very close to one another, very tiny, but luckily though, it does exhibit a pretty good response. The email experience with the Astound is pretty typical of any smartphone out there. Setup is pretty simple. All you gotta do is just provide your username and password and automatically will set up. You have full HTML service and offers a pretty good amount of features, but not quite in depth compared to some other platforms out there. Differentiating itself slightly over the C7, the Astound has tab browsing, so you could open up multiple windows and navigate between both of them. Unfortunately, the overall web browsing experience is not that great. As you can tell, it takes a little bit of time to actually resize or re-render the page here, and unfortunately, it's not as responsive as we like. Kinetic scrolling can be choppy looking, as you can tell. There are some flash elements supported, flashlight in fact, so you'll have that load on, but overall, it's just a very challenging experience. Nokia's social service available with this Astound. We quickly managed to set up both our Facebook and Twitter accounts, and the experience is pretty nice just because it aggregates all the content, and you'll have some basic functions on board as well. The Symbian 3 music player is definitely an attractive one. It offers a pretty nice presentation to it. You have this cover flow-like effect. As you tell, it's very fluid and smooth. When you select an album, display the usual content. As far as the audio quality from the speaker, it's a little bit on the sharper side. It's alright, but not the best sounds out there. Thanks to its gorgeous looking AMOLED display, the video watching experience is pretty fantastic with the Astound. The video we have here is encoded in DivX 1280 by 720 resolution, so plenty of details, very smooth in its playback, no evidence of any lag or slowdown, and overall, we're very happy with the experience. Finally, the last new addition with the Astound is its dedicated YouTube client. Unlike previous Symbian 3 devices, it generally just opens up the mobile version of the site, but it's nice that it offers a dedicated one. Even though some people might be ecstatic about seeing an 8-megapixel sensor in the backside, its lack of autofocus is definitely its biggest eyesore, and sorely missed, of course. So when you take photos in outdoor conditions, details are a little bit on the slim side. They look more fuzzy looking for close-ups due to the fact that it is a fixed focus camera. On top of that, color production is a little bit more on the dull side than anything else. Low lighting conditions, there's a little bit of noise evident in shots, but with the LED flash, it does an okay job of illuminating the scenery. Of course, you got 720p video recording on board with the Astound, but unfortunately though, it shoots at a frame rate of 25 frames per second, so you do notice a little bit of choppiness going on with it. On top of that, since it lacks autofocus, it doesn't provide or offer some really sharp details with it. On a good note, the call quality on the Nokia Astound is fantastic. Voices are clear and distinct on both ends. On our end, though, through the earpiece, there's just a little tiny amount of noise, but it doesn't really take away from the overall great experience. When we set it to the speaker, it is strong in its tone, and it wasn't distorted in any way. Meanwhile, the handset retains a pretty good amount of signal strength in high coverage areas. We didn't have any problems as far as any drop calls or losing connectivity to the network, and it didn't fluctuate that much. As for battery life, we managed to get 2 solid days of normal usage before requiring a charge, so it's pretty nice just knowing that you'll get at least solid working days use out of it without the worry of having to charge it again. All in all, for $79.99 on contract, you really can't knock on the Nokia Astound. It just offers a pretty wide set of features, such as the 8-megapixel camera, 720p video recording, video chat support on board too, and you have a stellar design and hardware with it. You have also the gorgeous-looking AMOLED display, which definitely gives it a really nice, well-rounded appeal to it. So if you'd like to learn more about the Nokia Astound, or for all the latest cell phone reviews, news specs, and information, you can check us out, PhoneArena.com.